Hello YouTube. Today we're going to talk more about the Gen 6 Glocks. Now, all of the influencers, shills, all the Glock people have put out kind of the information about the Glock pistols. I think the right thing to do, like you all, I have not even seen or held a Gen 6 Glock, but I have seen some stuff on the internet. So what I want to do is go over the list of new features and then have a really strong opinion about them, even though I've never held them or used it all together. I think it'll be fun to talk through the feature set and get some expectations. And then after I get a Gen 6 Glock at some point in the future, it'll probably be a while, we will see how close my expectations match the reality of my experience. All right, so I got an AI summary here of all of the changes to the Gen 6 Glock. So let's go over it. Let's go over it. All right, ergonomic and exterior upgrades. Right, you can see there's a little bit of a change there, definitely. They make a few things here. All right, integrated beaver tail. A factory molded beaver tail is now a part of the frame, encouraging a higher grip and eliminating slide bite. For me, I'm ambivalent about this. I don't get slide bite on the Glocks as it is. I'm comfortable with them. Guns that have beaver tail, I tend to not really care too much about beaver tails one way or the other with pretty much any gun that I use. It doesn't seem to affect me that much with most models and most designs. It's just kind of a non-issue for me. But I do, a good beaver tail would solve a problem for lots of other people. All right. But for me, that one's kind of irrelevant. All right. The RTF6 grip texture. Now you can see there's a new, much more aggressive grip texture on the frame of the Glocks. This new texture is a hybrid of previous designs, offering an aggressive, secure grip without being too abrasive for comfortable carry. Now, the look of the grip texture, I like the look of it. I haven't held it. I don't know. I suspect I will be fine with it. Um, I would like for it to eliminate that I always, just slap grip tape right on the gun. You'll know that the grip texture is like really good or I really like it if I get a Gen 6 Glock and no part of me feels the need for any grip tape. I'm like, yeah, I'm not sanding anything off. I'm not adding any textures. Like, I'm very happy with it as is. That seems very possible just looking at the photos. Like, I don't know, but it looks like the gun will make me happy with no skate tape on it. All right, let's talk about the palm swell and the thumb rest. This part I don't know about. The grip features a palm swell that contours to the hand, and textured extended thumb rests or gas pedals are cut into both sides of the frame for enhanced recoil control and support hand indexing. Now, the palm swell part to me, like from photographs, looks pretty subtle. It's not going to be like a really rounded off grip. It's still a little blocky-ish, which I like. I don't want a really aggressive palm swell. I'm not really that into that. A little bit of a palm swell I'm not going to worry about, but I don't like it to be real aggressive. Uh, I have to hold the gun to know if it works for me, of course. The other thing, the thumb rest part. This is just a feature looking at the gun that I really like. I really don't like. Now I like the aesthetic of it. The texture on the frame where they want your thumb to go. I think it looks cool, but the fact is, like, my thumb doesn't go there. The guns don't fit me that way, and I'm not really that weirdly sized as a person. Like, most people's thumbs just don't go there, where Glock put the thumb rest. It kind of reminds me of like one thing I've seen the last few years a lot was SIG 320s, where guys will change the slide stop, put a thumb rest on it, but it sits really far forward. So you'll have people, instead of holding the gun like this, their support hands really far forward just to get their thumb where they think it should go, and they're not like gripping the gun properly with their hand. That's what I've seen from like the factory thumb rest thing. All right, so that feature, I'm envisioning probably 8,000 times over the next 10 years, I'm going to have the fucking thumb rest conversation with people that are shooting Gen 6 Glocks and be like, yeah, I understand they put that thing there for your thumb, but your thumb doesn't fit there because you got to hold the gun with the rest of the hand. Right. Again, I haven't held it yet, but I'm strongly suspecting that that's going to be a conversation I have a lot more times than I want. over the next few years. All right, let's talk about the undercut trigger guard. The trigger guard is thinned where it meets the grip, allowing for a higher grip and helping prevent the Glock knuckle irritation experienced by some shooters. Well, sounds good to me. I don't get the Glock knuckle too bad. You can see I do have the Glock. Well, I have this. I mean, maybe that counts. But this is from many guns, not just from the Glock. But if they're gonna make that callus like less necessary or whatever, that sounds fine to me. Okay, there are deeper slide serrations. Both front and rear slide serrations are angled and cut deeper into the slide, providing more positive traction for slide manipulations. I don't care too much. I want the gun to look cool with the slide serrations, and I think it looks pretty cool, so that's fine. All right, flared magazine well. A subtle flare on the mag well aids in faster and smoother reloads. Sounds good to me. They did improve from Gen, I think 4 to 5. The reloads got a lot easier. If they improve it more, cool. I always like improvement, but I'll say this: like the Glock to me is the easiest gun to reload. Gen 5 Glock's easiest gun to reload. If they make Gen 6 better, cool. I'm good with that. All right, let's move on. New optics mounting system. The traditional MOS system has been replaced by a redesigned optics-ready system. Right, this is a good thing. Before I go on, I will say like the MOS system is probably the biggest miss that Glock has put on the market in my memory. I mean, I'm not as old as some of you, but MOS just sucks. Like people don't like it, and everybody uses aftermarket shit anyway. So just doing away with MOS and doing something different, that sounds good to me. Now let's hear what they are doing. All right. This setup uses thin polymer plates as shims and shock absorbers, allowing optics to be screwed directly into a deeper milled slide for a lower mounting profile. The system accommodates common footprints like RMR and Delta Point Pro. Good. Like I said, doing what they're doing, it sounds okay. I don't know if it works, but MOS for sure sucked. This new thing, it sounds good. I think just having the gun come ready to accommodate the common footprints, fine, do that. Fine with me. As long as it works, I will be happy. All right, a factory flat face trigger is now standard, offering more consistent finger placement and cleaner break while retaining the safe action system. We'll see. Like that's the hype, that's the marketing. We will see if that's actually what happens. All right, single recoil spring assembly. Glock has reverted to a single captive recoil spring assembly, which they claim enhances overall reliability. So on the surface of it, I'm not loving this change. Now, as you know, like Glocks, I used to shoot 17s and 34s all the time. Some guys were like, "Hey, you got to get on the 47. It just shoots better. It's got the the Glock 19 recoil setup in there. It's better." It sounded goofy. I tried it. I ended up liking it better. Now, I think the spring is a big part of why I like the 47 better than the 17. Like I know I like that setup. Now, one thing that happened 2-3 years ago, for sure, there was a bad run of recoil springs from Glock where like the caps that hold the springs captive were flying off, like they were breaking, the springs would fly out of there, and the gun's fucked. Like you're gonna have to change that part. It was a bad run. This was systematic. Like a lot of people were breaking those things for a while, and then they didn't have a bad run anymore. And like the good ones, they last forever, in my opinion. I don't change them, but again, they did have some that that broke a few years ago, like a bunch of them. Maybe they went back to the single spring to like make it so that can't happen anymore. Maybe there's some other technical reason. I don't really know. I don't know what it is, but it could be that because of the breakages, they're changing the springs. I will say, like I said, I like the way the 47 shoot now. I want to shoot the Gen 6 as a package, like the way that everything's balanced, like the weight of the slide and the spring that they put in there and the optic and blah, and all that stuff. It's going to affect how the gun feels. I'm concerned that I may not like it as much, like as far as the recoil impulse, I might not like that part as much as the Glock 47s. I'm not going to know until I try it, but I'm concerned about the spring change. All right, keep going. Modified internals. Key internal parts, including the barrel geometry and extractor system, have been redesigned. This was partly done to prevent unauthorized conversions to selective fire capability and means some parts like the barrel and slide assembly, are not cross-compatible with previous generations. Um, I'm confident that people are going to get switches made for these things in pretty short order. That should be fine. Uh, Not that I'll have one, but for y'all that want them, I'm sure you'll be able to get them. All right, the barrel geometry, like I've talked to a few people at Glock. I've heard the barrel is better, and I want to look down the chamber of one of these things to see how it's better. But I've heard good things about the new barrel setup. The rest of that, I don't really care about too much, to be honest. Like the losing backwards compatibility sucks a little bit, but that's, I mean, to be honest, that's not a feature that I use a whole lot. In the end, Gen 6 looks pretty interesting to me. Like I said, iterative changes, and a lot of features that I want to pay attention to. Let's go over to your comments on my last Gen 6 Glock video. Now Ben is going to be a Glock 17 guy. Ben's slightly upset he wasn't invited to the Gen 6 meeting. No, I'm not the guy that's going to be in those meetings because I don't sign a lot of stuff like non-discloses or contracts with people. I'm not that guy. I'm like the wild card guy, like no part of me thinks I'm getting invited to any meetings for this kind of stuff from Glock or anyone else. All right, I'm disappointed in Glock for not inviting Ben. Ben slings more Glocks than GBRS shilling for SIG. Yeah, I guess, but I like the Glock products. I mean, there's a lot of things I like about them. All right, let's keep going. Moving away from MOS is the biggest upgrade, in my opinion. Sure, I mean, to me, that had to happen. Like MOS is fuck. Nobody likes it. So like you have to do something different, I think. All right. If it was the same, the haters complain. If they make changes, the haters complain. I think, like, one thing I've been thinking about the last couple weeks as I've watched all the Glock stuff unfold online is like most of the people that are like screeching the loudest about what Glock is doing are not Glock customers anyway. Like most Glock customers they're kind of like they'll like take it as it comes and they'll look at what are they doing? They're like, oh, that's weird. And then, whatever. Like the people that go the craziest, they're not really Glock customers, I don't think. All right, until Ben runs 10K through it, I'll sit on the sidelines. That's fair. That's probably the right thing to do, especially if you already have a Glock and you're happy with it. You don't need this. You can just sit back and wait. And if there's something that about it that really gets you, off the fence, you're like, yeah, I want that now. Then that's fine. I wouldn't be in like a big hurry to go buy this. As a longtime Glock owner, I do not want Glock to completely change the pistol. Generational changes are great. The magic is in the reliability, and completely reinventing the wheel would not likely improve upon that. Yeah, it's the same thing. Guys that want Glock to make the gun completely different, they're not Glock customers anyway. I mean, that it doesn't really make sense. It's kind of like what Porsche did. What did they say? We're going to make all the 911s, we're going to make them electric. Well, if you're into a gas-powered Porsche sports car, there's going to be way less like crossover appeal to buy one that's electric. You're like your customers you have now buy the gas powered ones and they like that. So it's like you're going to fuck off those customers and try to get all new customers over here. Like that kind of shit doesn't really make sense. You have to still serve the clients you already have. All right, Gen 6 looks good. I like to change the flat face trigger. I'll be getting a 19 for sure. And I do agree. I think it looks good. I think it looks cool. Like I look at the gun, it looks cool to me. All right. Let's see what else we got. Can't wait for the Gen 7 to have 1913 rail. I guess. Ben, in 6 months, only 100,000 rounds on this Gen 6. Needs more testing before I can give an opinion. That could be. Glock with an actual undercut and higher grip texture. Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, fair enough. Why not? Shilling ain't easy, says 99% of gun troopers. It's pretty easy. It's okay. I can hear it now. 6 months from now, Ben's going to release a video titled Gen 6 17 is a one for me. For all the people that bought the 47, you bought the wrong gun. Yeah, I probably will do that. I mean, if that ends up being the case, I will gleefully put out that video. One of my friends, one of my pretty close friends actually, a few years ago, he's like buying guns. I was, yeah, get these Glock 17s. And buys Glock 17s, and I think like a week later I changed my opinion. I was like, well, now the 47's the one to buy. And he was like, dude, I just bought these Glock 17s. Well, why the fuck did you buy those? You should have gotten the 47s, idiot. He's like, you told me to buy the 17. And then I just pretend I didn't say that, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy the chaos. It's a lot of fun. Glock turned into a Ben shill and made the 17 a 47. Now I can't make it flush fit comps. Oh, well, that's cool. That sounds good. The departure from the dual recoil spring is interesting. Wonder how that will affect the recoil impulse. Yeah, so of all the questions I have about the Gen 6 Glocks, like that's the biggest one. How is this thing gonna recoil? How is the reciprocation gonna be? Because I'm concerned about that change. I mean, if it ends up just being a Gen 5 17 in terms of feel, I won't like that as much, but I'll be a little disappointed too. Glock 17 Gen 6 is a Glock 47, so Ben's happy. Then I'm over here like, what the fuck? Why would they do that? Well, because the 47's better, man. It's just better. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. I'm excited to get, well, I don't know how excited. I'll get a Gen 6. Eventually, I'll shoot it. We'll see how it is. And after 10 billion rounds, I'll give you an opinion. You know the deal at this point.